No, we're good. We don't.
Your children can't read.
We don't, sir.
They're sagging their pants in the streets.
Sir, y'all don't have schools out there like that, sir. You guys, that's why you here. You
guys have schools and can't read.
Yes, we can read. We can read good enough not to flee. All right, we ain't fleeing. We can read good enough to stay here and chill. We're not eating Red Cross rice and
whites are here.
So there's been a lot of talk about Africa and the development of Africa. Now we've heard the stories of ancient Africa and ancient Zimbabwe. They showed the ruins of the ancient Zimbabwe kingdom. We saw ancient Ethiopia, these kingdoms that was built in Ethiopia and Sudan, the pyramids of Egypt. Right. We've also saw the kingdoms of Mali, the kingdoms of Songhai, right? The kingdoms of Mauritania at the time, the Senegal, all these different kingdoms, the Mandate people that was in place, right? And this was in ancient Africa before the Europeans, right? We also saw when they adopted Islam and how they went up into Spain and different things like these Moors and just the stories of ancient Africa. Well, since the colonial people came in and took over, Africa has been in basically ruins. Countries have been devastated. They've been the Europeans has come in, they've carved up Africa, right? They've even gave them their names like Africa, and these countries are not the African names. These people that live in these places like Ghana and Senegal and Benin and Nigeria aren't even from those original places. They were forced there and forced to create a country. And this is why you have these countries with so many different neighboring tribes that speak different languages, have different food, different dress, different customs, different cultures, and they can't get along and they can't develop, right? They can't develop because they don't have an intact language that teaches them how to move or a culture, right? They have serious tribalism. And this was done on purpose, right? This was done on purpose to keep them from redeveloping. But there's some things that's going on now where I've noticed when we have these conversations with Africans, a lot of Africans blatantly disrespect the accomplishments of foundational Black Americans. They don't believe that we have the intellectual capacity to build anything, right? Because they haven't built anything, right? And what they'll do, they have a tendency to say that we only built things because we've had close proximity to whites. These are the things they say. And I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to show you guys this in this short demonstration. They say that we built societies because we have close proximity to whites. And they'll go and they'll talk about why they can't develop their countries while living in America, educated in America, being up under some white cooch, some W cooch, or the Pink Panther all in their womb, right? While at the same time saying what Africans can't do. And then when we try to explain to them our history, they undermine our history. Y'all don't believe me? Check it out, right? Let's get right to it, right? Let's get to it. Now, let's listen to this conversation that Tariq Nasheed is having with this Angolan tether, right? Check this out.
But we're too rooted here and we're not going anywhere. So shout out to our Queen Mother Harriet.
I can't listen. I'm not here to undermine you guys. I have a lot of respect, actually.
You can't undermine us, sir, because you have fled from your homeland. You are a de facto refugee. So you can't undermine us. You don't have the power or the clout to undermine.
But let me ask you a question. Who came here in more dignity? So I came here when I was 6 years old, right? My family, my ancestors specifically, they weren't brought here on a ship. They weren't told when to eat. They weren't thrown overboard. I came here with dignity. I came here with respect. You guys
slow down. Let me slow down.
Dignity.
Sir, so is crapping on the street in your homeland dignifying?
That's what you would be doing if it wasn't for the white Europeans.
No. Ain't no woulda, coulda, shoulda. We don't.
Now stop right there. He said he came here in dignity. Now I want y'all. Now again. Hold on a second. Again, let's deal with that. No emotions for family out there. Do not be emotional. Do not be angry. We sit and we in the classroom now, right? Well, listen, we're not in the pool, we're not in the church right now, we're in the classroom. Check this out, right? His name, he's Angolan. His name is Matt. He speaks with this European vernacular, not in his language. His girlfriend is a W woman. He exemplifies nothing of Angolan culture because he's ashamed of Angolan culture. He ingratiated himself all the way to the European, to the point where if he was on the phone with him, you wouldn't even know it was a black man. He's totally ran away. And what he said was, if it wasn't for the W man, we would be in Africa doing whatever. That right there, if I was to read the sheep, I wouldn't let the conversation go no further than right there. I would have kept it right there. I would have kept it there, because what does that say about you, right? For him to make that statement, that means that he saw us and he thought that if he come here and ingratiate himself to W folks, but W folks require you to give up all of your culture because they say that you're uncivilized, right? But let's listen to some more.
Do that? No. We don't do
yeah,
that.
You do.
No, we don't. So you guys crap on you.
You see Detroit?
So no, ain't nobody crapping. Yeah, my family's in Detroit. They're doing well. Nobody's crapping in the streets in Detroit, sir. You guys
doesn't look too good over there.
You guys have to wipe your ass with shea butter leaves in your homeland. Is that dignified,
really,
sir?
I never had to do that.
Yeah, because you had to flee. You fled. We saved you. You over here.
No, even when I was there, I never had to do that.
No. Yeah, because we saved you. You had to come over here among the foundational Black Americans so that you would not be wiping that ass with.
Can we clarify something? Because you
not?
guys always talk about, bush meat and, you have to wipe your ass and all this sort of stuff.
Right.
The reason why you aren't eating bush meat is not because you're of a different lineage. The reason why you aren't eating bush meat is because this country was 90-something% white, and you have been subsidized by the whites. The whites have been subsidizing you and helping you and giving you all these different programs.
Let's unpack that. So again, let's unpack that part. Let's unpack that. He said that we were subsidized by the whites. That's the reason why we've been able to achieve the things that we achieve. Now, family out there, I want you to understand when Bishop George is teaching, this is what they think of you. This is why they come here and want to replace you. They want to be under the foot of W folks, so that way they believe that they can achieve what you achieve. They don't understand our story and our struggle of us fighting just to be human, and how our ingenuity moved this country despite whites. They believe that the only reason why we got what we got is because of whites, and they have no problem coming here replacing you under that same system, right? That goes to show you their thought process and how they see themselves. This ain't George making words. This is the dude Matt's words. This Angolan. Listen to what he's saying. It's not that hard to decipher and figure out, right? It's not that hard. So what I'm saying is I would have kept it right there. So I would have said to him, well, what does that say about you, Matt? What does that say about you? He believes that the only reason what separates us from him is our close proximity to this intelligent W man. That's what he said.
Programs in Section 8.
Like what?
That's why
Like
you
what?
aren't eating bush
Like
meat.
what?
Not
Like
because
what?
you're superior.
Sir, we've always had to get it out the mud. We've known how to take care of ourselves, sir. You guys have to rely on Red Cross. You guys have to rely on Red Cross rice and Red Cross grains. We don't do all that. We know how to take care of each other. We've always taken care of each other, sir. As foundational Black Americans, we've always known how to get it out the mud. These people have worked against us. They've destroyed some of our prosperous business districts, and we had to rebuild over and over again. We didn't flee like you guys did. You guys get a couple of setbacks and y'all have to flee all over the world, sir.
So look at that smug attitude on his face, because he couldn't wait to sniff some W cooch. He don't even realize that in this country, it was a period of time, if he even tried to look at a W woman, they would hang him from a tree. It's because of our people fighting for racial equality and justice. It's the fact that he can even sniff some W cooch. He can't wait to mix his seed with some W, because to him, he's inadequate. He's not good enough. His culture is trash. That's what he's saying. He said if it wasn't for them assimilating us into their culture, we would be swinging from trees and eating bananas. That's basically what he's saying. And that's why he's come over here, and you hear the way he talk. You see, they're not fooling me. I deal directly where they at and call it out for what it is. No emotion involved. This debate would have been over in 5 minutes.
That's different. So yeah, they're not subsidizing us. They're subsidizing you. No. They have to subsidize you while they pillage your homeland of all the resources. And
you guys can't even speak English.
And then you have to come over here up under us, sir. All right?
Hold on. Let me just say something real quickly. So 1526, that's when the foundational Black American, lineage starts, right?
1526 is when we first had resistance against the white supremacists on this land.
Okay, so 500 years that would be. So 500 years, you guys are still putting the is where the are should be. You guys can't even speak English. It's been 500 years. Where is you going? What is you doing? It's 500 years.
Well, you have to gravitate towards that because most of us don't talk like that. But even if we do,
you guys do. You guys do.
And let me tell you something. When we talk like that, we know how to code switch because the people who talk like that, they can code switch, sir. You can't code switch hunger and famine, sir. That's part of your culture. That's
you guys
part
can't
of
even speak English. It's 500 years.
No. You have to run over.
So just think about this. This is an Angolan, right? We are people of indigenous to the Americas, and some of us came over on them slave ships, right? Why would we speak proper English? No other groups. You don't say that to the Chinese. You don't say that to these other groups. This is the thing. Why don't he speak Angolan? Why don't he speak with an Angolan accent? Because he's embarrassed of his culture. Listen, he said in his own words, he believes that white culture is better than his. This is what he believes. And he stands on that. He's proud of that. So even in the debate, he's arguing with another Black person about speaking proper English, and he's an Angolan. What does that say about him?
Over here to us who's speaking like that so you can be safe and you can eat, sir. Because, yeah, you tired of the monkey McNuggets over there in your failed homeland, sir.
You guys can't speak English.
Yeah. So is you running? Is you fleeing? We can say that. Is you eating bush meat? We can say that.
Listen, brother.
All right.
This is the thing with the FBI movement. You guys have a lot more to worry about.
No, we're good.
Your children can't read.
We don't, sir.
They're sagging their pants in the streets.
Sir, y'all don't have schools out there like that, sir. You guys, that's why you here. You
guys have schools and can't read.
Yeah, we can read. We can read good enough not to flee. All right, we ain't fleeing. We can read good enough to stay here and chill. We're not eating Red Cross rice and
whites are here.
No.
And you hear that again? The whites are here. So if he can use that in the argument, why is he here? What does that say about him and his country? See, he doesn't believe his country is good enough. He come here to have close proximity to W folks. So what I'm saying is you wasting your time when you even having conversations with a lot of those people because they don't believe that you could achieve anything. They come here to have close proximity to W folks, right? But let's listen to even in the conversation with Frank when he's having the conversations with two young Africans, right? Look at what they say.
I think like in Nigeria, because like people like are trying to vote for like presidency and things like that. And we all expect for the president to like see what is going on in the society and say, okay, like we hope for you to like make this change. And like, they'll put like their stuff out there saying, oh, I will address this. I will address this. And then when they come into presidency, it's like the exact opposite of like.
Yes, because you corrupted them.
Who corrupted them?
The masses. No African leader is corrupt.
That just makes, you're going to have to elaborate on that.
They are corrupted.
So how we corrupt, like the people corrupted the, like what do you mean by corrupt?
Watch this, y'all.
So when computers started, right? When we had computers in high towers, you know that computer has a program in it. And so you have to only introduce what it can use the program to understand, right? So when
I want y'all to pay attention so that we can get an outstanding understanding for the mindset of the African when they come here and they encounter us. Watch this.
People use malware to introduce your hard drive. What do you say happened to your hard drive? My hard drive is corrupted, which means you gave it something to do that is not part of what he knows how to do. Colonials left behind a political system and you hang on to it. And then you're picking one of you to use it to do something. You said that's what you wanted. You said every 4 years you want to go out there and pick one of you to lead you. So somebody said, okay, pick me. Look at my suit, it's nice, and I speak your language. And you picked them. You've introduced a tax to this man or woman who you don't know if he knows he doesn't own a country. We just proving to you there is no country. But you're asking him to lead something that is not there. If you give your Lamborghini to your 7-year-old, you've corrupted his skills. He runs into people or he runs into a tree. The people you've been thinking since independence don't know how to do what you're asking them to do. So you corrupt their skills.
So we've like you say.
So let's unpack. Let's unpack that because he can talk to them. They may not be intelligent enough to understand what this. So basically, what he's saying is this: these people, based off the colonial system that the Europeans established when they left, you tried to hold on to that colonial establishment, and you failed miserably because you don't know how to do it, right? And he said that these leaders are not corrupt; the people corrupt them. But what he's not acknowledging is the Europeans, the France, and the British hand behind the scenes controlling these leaders in order to extract resources and keep them underdeveloped, right? He's not mentioning that. While at the same time, he's criticizing them, these leaders, for not knowing what they're doing because they wanted to hold on to the European development, but while at the same time fleeing his country, coming to the Europeans to be up under their foot, to be educated up under them, to be up under their women's cooch, and to be up under all that. He's the ultimate hypocrite. See, he's talking to these young people about what how the African leaders have failed and what they can't do, right? Because they decided to hold on to a system that he ran to. See how they double talk? But if you're not emotional, you can sit there and listen to it and unpack it and unpack the whole thing like a suitcase. He's the ultimate hypocrite. He is the ultimate traitor. But let's listen to some more.
Us Nigerians have corrupted, like the presidents or something like that.
Yes,
That's happened.
you are just a corrupt in waiting. They make any of you MP right now, you'll be corrupt because what they're asking you to work on is not natural to you. It's foreign. The villages where.
So what they're asking you to work on is not natural to you, it's foreign because you're trying to do it the European way, but it's foreign to you because you are of African. You are African. So then the question I would have turned around and asked Frank, why are you in Connecticut, Frank? Why did you leave what was natural to you and run to something that was foreign to you and ingratiate yourself within that culture? Because you think that it's better and your people are failures. That's exactly what you're saying. See, you can talk to these young African kids who don't know no better, but you can't come to foundational Black Americans and run that game on us, Frank.
You come from? Do you use ballot to pick the chief? They know you from age 12 by who you are, what you can do. And that's how we picked our leaders in Africa for hundreds of years.
Okay, so are you saying that if we implemented like a system like, so in Ghana, in my culture, the way like picking a chief works is there are 5 royal families and then it rotates each family every time. Are you saying that if that happened with like our government?
How can it happen with your government?
Well,
you don't have
possible.
Ghana. You don't have a country called Ghana or Ghanaians. So whom are you picking?
That just makes no sense.
So is the political system the issue? Like
I don't know. I'm giving.
Watch what he say. And this is why delineation is important, and we can't allow them to say that we're being divisive. Watch what he tell his people. Oh, excuse me, they're not his people based off of Frank's teaching. Listen to this.
You things for you to make your own conclusion.
There's no Ghana.
There's no Ghana, there's no Nigeria. Who is a Nigerian? You are a Nigerian only when you leave the country and you are abroad. You said, I'm from Nigeria. But when you ask a Chinese, they don't say, I'm from China. They say, I'm Chinese. Japanese will say, I'm Japanese. Ask Africans, they always say, I'm from. It means you're talking about a physical location that was created by some foreigner, and a bunch of you who have nothing in common lives there. Okay, but in Nigeria.
You know what's funny? They come here and try to tell us we have no culture, where their countries were created, amalgamation of tribes ran out from different places, right? And then was carved, and then those places, those geographical lines was carved into Africa. Listen, we have a longer lineage damn near here than they do. Not saying that you don't have an ancient Africa, but those people have been mixed and matched and ran out of countries and moved around for so long, right? Man, this thing is deeper than what people think it is, man. But again, he's telling them, you can't build anything because you don't have a Ghana. What is Ghana, right?
Yeah, there's nobody says I'm Nigerian. You say I'm Igbo. I'm Yoruba.
Have the WASP unity that you referred to earlier.
Pardon me?
Just because we don't have the WASP, like.
Of course you don't have it.
Yeah.
So when he said WASP, he's alluding to white Anglo-Saxon, right? Right? White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. And the thing is, he's saying that they have the unity in order to build. The African don't have it. So while he's criticizing Africa for not building, guess where Frank lives? Guess what Frank is doing? That's what these young people are doing. So he man, FBA, listen to me. I don't play Frank because I like Frank. I play Frank in the classroom because I want you to understand the psyche of these people. That dude from Angola, I want you to understand the psyche of these people without the emotion. So we understand just what we're dealing with. They will never, ever, ever. The reason why they want to latch on to your achievements in Black History Month, because they don't have them of their own. So they will have to say, hey, this is shared. You are African too. That's why they want to latch on. While at the same time in their country, they're separate based off of tribes, language, cultures, food, but they want to all come here and make one flat blackness. So that way they can matter. Because based off of their thought process, we only got it because we had close proximity to the W man. Let's listen to a little bit more.
So we're just not Ghanaian. We're just like you're Akan, you're Gan.
That's correct. You know, and it's a metaphor. I love it. I read it. You know the Tower of Babel in the Bible? What was the main thing? That
is why we can't develop, but
language. One. Do you know how America struggled to make sure Spanish is not even a second language here? Because they know what it can cause. You don't have that. You don't have a national culture. You don't have a national history.
You notice he's saying you don't. He's not saying we. Mind you, he's African too. He's separating himself. Let's do this. Let's do this. He's separating himself in the conversation from them because he's ingratiated himself into W culture. Because they have something that the African don't have, so I'm going to flee from it. While at the same time coming here telling Black Americans we have no culture. The reason why he's saying we have no culture because we've been in close proximity to the W man. And the only reason why he got what he got, I got what I got, is because of this W man. This is what they believe. This is what they teach. This is what I've been telling you guys. No emotion in the church, no emotion in the pulpit. Because we're studying and understanding the psyche of these people when they come around you and why you can't build anything with them. Because the minute they see the king or in England, they get on their knees and start jumping up and down and screaming and hooping and howling and backflipping. The minute they see a W woman with some blonde hair, they lose their mind and go crazy because they hate their reflection. See what I'm saying? And this is the thing that we're saying that we're going to team up with. No, they want to replace you so that way they can have your place in your seat under the system of W supremacy because they don't believe that they can do it on their own. But y'all gotta let me know what y'all think. Tell me if I'm crazy or not. I use their own words, not George Macon's words, their own words, just to let you see the mentality and the thought process, the way that they operate and move. Now, is this all Africans? No, I'm not saying that this is all Africans, but this is a large percentage of them in the way that they think, right? And the way that they move and operate. Nothing's never 100%. Of course, you have African riders on the continent that vehemently disagree with Frank and that other dude, right? But you guys need to become more visible. So if you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.